Welcome. I was going to text the live to my grandparents. Welcome on in to the Wildcats Today Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going live today to talk about the big time win over the Oklahoma Sooners yesterday. Did you hear the news? I saw it reported that now Otega Oweh is officially the mayor of, or the governor of Oklahoma.
The governor slash athletic director slash everything, I think.
He has a lot of new roles within that program, thanks to his performance last night. I mean, a game, and it's funny, that basketball game, we could have won by 47 points, 15, or 1, and I wouldn't have cared. You had to win that game at what doesn't matter how, you had to find a way to win, and the Cats do. We're going to talk about that on today's episode of Wildcats Today Podcast. Those of you that have any Auburn-related questions, go ahead and throw those in the comments. We'll talk about that at the tail end. We'll talk a little Oklahoma first, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Carson, I mean, just a big dub, big dub for this team. Postseason seeding keeps you alive for that 3 seed, puts you in a good shot. So, Carson, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, that game was really, really stressful. Me and Boff got to watch it together, so we were going through all the emotions at the same time. It was funny because there was a point there when the 26% three-point shooter hits a dagger three-pointer, you're sitting there and you're like, man, it's just really not Kentucky's year this year. We're just getting the shit into the stick, but we end up making a clutch shot at the end, and man, Otega looked like LeBron James at the end of the game. I'm not even kidding. He was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, Oweh scored our last 18 points and 21 of our last 23 points. He literally, from the 9-minute and 50-second mark, was the only person in a Kentucky uniform to score a point. And we won that game. Partially because he scored 18 points. It wasn't like that was 8 points in that span. It was a significant amount of points. And it was clear. They were booing him every time he got the ball. It was clear he wanted that bad. He wanted that game. He wanted to win. And I mean, there was a lot of crap talk in that game. Jalen Moore was mouthy. Brandon Garrison, per usual, was mouthy.
All game.
My Fears was talking his fair share. You know what I would love to be? If we got those lip readers, I want to see when Jalen Moore was shooting those free throws last 2 minutes of the game, and Otega was right here talking. I'd love to have seen what they were saying to each other because it looked so nice, but it was not.
He was definitely saying, you're going to miss this free throw right here. You're going to choke.
Yeah. Otega is the man, no question.
That one was Ortega, actually.
Oh, that one was Ortega? Both of them say Ortega. Well, that's fine. I agree with that too. But let's go ahead and get this discussion out of the way, Carson. What are your thoughts about what went down with Jackson? Making his return. He's in and out of the lineup. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought he played pretty good at the beginning of the game, and then he went down again. So that's a little nerve-wracking. We'll see what comes of that. Wrist injuries on the shooting hand aren't one to play with. So we got to monitor that closely, and hopefully he'll be good for Saturday, but I don't know about that either.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll get to questions like this about the Auburn game. Give us like 5 minutes to talk more Oklahoma, and then we'll start doing a mixed bag of Oklahoma and Auburn questions. But keep tossing them in there. We can scroll back to them. So, a game where, and once again, those of you that were here for our Alabama, we didn't do a live, but we did a, post-game breakdown. And I mean, I was so upset about the whistle. And we really, those of you that listen to, our shows, we really, I don't think gripe too much about officials. I think we gripe when we feel it's necessary, which is a couple times a year. These last 2 games, I have not liked the whistle, Carson. I almost disliked it more yesterday because, like Mark Sears, we know he's the foul merchant. That's what he's going to do. But Oklahoma, man, they just were annoying the crap out of me.
Yeah, well, it started off annoying in general because SEC Network doesn't know how to stagger their games.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't want to talk about it.
That's just the worst thing. So you're waiting on the game, and then you finally get up to the game speed after listening to Goose and Tom Leach for a little bit, and then our bigs already have 2 fouls apiece, Carr and Amari Williams, and Amari Williams is injured when you turn the TV on. So that started off weird. So I didn't like how it started, but it was a weird game all around. Luckily, we were at the winning end of that.
Well, we were smart. Mike put it on ESPN Plus, so we were able to watch those little bit of we were able to watch a little bit of the game before. Did you see this? Speaking of your staggering the games, someone tweeted this. The last 2 minutes of the game for any game took 38 minutes of real life time. 2 minutes of a basketball game. Buzz Williams. If I could get my leg high enough to scissor kick him, I would.
Yeah. But I have a problem with Buzz Williams and his coats and whatever, because that was ridiculous. You knew you were going to lose that game, dude. Come on.
I can't believe they got it to 2 points. Because, like I said, we had flipped over and we were watching the ESPN Plus, and then I saw the final. I'm like, they lost by 2. They were down like 9 with 20 seconds left. But there's the that was, I agree, that was annoying. But so Carson, we'll talk more about Otega, but beside him, a lot of comments about Brandon. We're going to get into, Brandon Garrison. Carson, there's some thoughts about him, but who else kind of stood out, played well besides Otega in this ballgame?
Well, I actually want to talk about Otega a little bit more because I thought he played really terribly in the first half. Mm-hmm. And then there was a point in the game. I don't know if you remember this or not. I think he turned the ball over on offense, and he was jawing with somebody, and Fears drove to the basket and got a foul drawn, but you could see Otega sprint from the other side of the court and go up and block it, even though Fears got to shoot 2 free throws. I think that was the turning point, because from then on, Otega became a superstar. So I think all that jawing ended up making him play so much better.
It lit a fire under his arse, as they say. I think that that seemed to, I agree. You talk crap, sometimes you're gonna fuel people to play harder, and I think that's what happened there with Otega. He was incredible. And Brandon Garrison in this game, he played 27 minutes. We only saw 19 minutes from Amari because he was in foul trouble the whole game. It wasn't really, it was, his fault for drawing fouls, although we could talk about that, the fouls. But Brandon, you're going to have games like that where your starting 5 picks up some early fouls. It's going to happen. I'd say, 2 or 3 games a year, your starting 5 is going to pick up a few fouls, and you're going to need your backup 5 to play 25 to 30 minutes when normally he's playing 15 to 18. And that's what happened with Brandon in this game. And he did some silly stuff early in the game before Amari was in foul trouble. He was kicking the ball around. He was making support. He wasn't playing great defense. And I could almost say he kind of snapped like Otega did, turned it on, and was darn good down the stretch for this basketball team, leading us to a big must win.
That's the biggest thing for me. I think BG taking the stride defensively that he did in this game was huge. I think BG, you don't have to do anything offensively. You can be a dominant defender. Look at your size, look at your speed, look how agile you are. He reminds me, his build, just in general, his build reminds me of a Willie Cauley-Stein, that limber, athletic, fluid guy. He can end up being a great defender. He just hasn't shown it. So showing it is awesome. And we're going to need that because our defense needs some help.
This is just, don't do this. Fans, don't ever throw anything at the players. I don't care.
I know
what they said about your mama or whatever. Don't throw stuff.
The fan missed. Doug Shows was exiting a different exit.
Yeah, seriously. There, that's a good one. What are your thoughts on this, even for the rest of the year, about Brandon playing the 4? I'm cool with it, but in the Mark Pope system, and listen, Brandon can shoot the rock, but is it sustainable over more 3s per game? So what are your thoughts on that? I think I could argue yes and no. I could make both sides. So what do you think, Carson?
I brought it up to my dad a couple weeks ago. I think if he's defensively as good as he was against Oklahoma, I think you can play him at the 4 because I think that spot has been a little underwhelming recently with Andrew Carr. I'm not going to lie, because of him being injured. But I think Andrew Carr's a guy that can kind of give you that presence where it's not as up and down, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's more of a flatline guy. Brandon definitely has more upside, but Carr is a guy you can rely on more often, I would say. So I don't know. I like it. I like the idea of it. I just don't know how it would work out. And I think BG is a great shooter. And they're leaving him open. So if you're going to be that wide open, shoot it.
Yeah, they're not buying in to the BG can shoot thing quite yet. Clearly, because he's, they're leaving him open, and he's
made it all year. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he was 2 for 3 yesterday. And I mean,
Mhm.
but the form, I'm a big believer in form. You know, the form's good.
Yeah.
The form is good. It's a pretty jump shot. Like, it makes sense why it goes in a good amount. And so I'm cool with it. You know, we'll talk about, there was a great comment up here. Let me find it. This is in reference to Brandon talking about Garden Broom. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That's a great thought, and we'll get to that because that's a big question for that game Saturday. But I just love that this team. You had to win this basketball game, and I just love a team that it feels like every time. And correct me if I'm wrong, Carson, but it feels like every time that we've said that, like South Carolina, which once again, that's not a great team. Vandy at home, and then this game, we've said you got to win, and they found a way to win. I think you could argue we said that about Texas, and they didn't get it done. But I mean, for the most part, when this team's back has been against the wall, and you have to win a basketball game, they've done it. And I was very proud of the way they showed up yesterday. I mean, that Jalen Moore dude played well. We had some struggles defensively. Jalen Moore is a good player. He was a little mouthy, and he kind of irked me, but he's a good player. So
yeah, he went on an 8-0 run in the first half by himself, which is the only reason the game ended up being close.
Yeah, no, it really, because it felt like the point where, like, if we threw one more punch, we were gonna make that not interesting for a while.
Yeah.
And they answered. Well, he answered that punch. Andrew Carr looked a little banged up yesterday. Not banged up, the same back injury. And did you see? Now, I don't know if they've panned over to him over there before. Has he been getting on the bike in other games? He always has that back thing on, the like back spasm machine, whatever that thing is. But I don't know if I've seen him on the bike. And if someone knows that, correct me. But they kept showing.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing though. Keep your legs loose.
It keeps you loose.
Instead of getting him tight on sitting on the bench, I think it's smart.
It's a good thing, but I don't know. That was because he's played 2 games in a row where I thought he looked really healthy and he looked his best. And yesterday, he looked more 80% than he did 98%.
Yeah, but he's also not as good against forwards that are 6'7" and
that is true. Which he did a pretty good job, I thought, offensively. And there were a few times where I kept saying downstairs, he's 6'7". Take him.
Go right at him. Yeah.
Especially because Carr's a pretty darn good free throw shooter. And so I was, I'm not concerned, but and then after the game, Coach Pope did say something like, we're going to check on Andrew and make sure Andrew and Lamont and Jackson, so I'll have to see, tomorrow's press conference. We'll see what Coach Pope has to say about these guys. Do you think Jackson plays on Saturday? Like, give me a confidence level on that at 1 through 10 or a percentage. I guess that'd be the same thing.
I'd say 40-60.
I agree. I think it's very, very valid. I think it's a fair, yeah. I agree with you
because
on that.
I just think this is also one of those games, like, no need to force it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you need him back for SEC tourney and March Madness. Like, there's no need to force Jackson back.
And I got another one, and I'm really. This says, is this the case? I'm guessing no Amari Saturday. Is he?
I wouldn't see why that would be the case. He ended up playing the end of the game.
Yeah,
he was in on that block at the end of the game.
He said, heard reports it was worse than we think. I haven't. We'll hear tomorrow, Coach Pope at his presser. I haven't heard anything on that. Not to say that's not the case. We'll hear more about it. If anyone else knows more about that, let us know down there. Why did Ainsley Almanor play 4 minutes, Carson?
I don't know. I just think
weird to you. Like, that was really weird to me.
It's weird, but he's been struggling a little bit. So maybe. I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't think he brings enough defensively, maybe.
There's no question.
And he can't really create offensively. So he's kind of just a 3-point guy. I mean, he's in there for a quick burst. I mean, I would keep his minutes down anyways, the way Kobe Brea is starting to be a full player. Kobe Brea is starting to rebound, pass, and score without having to shoot threes. Like, he's becoming a well-rounded basketball player. Yeah. So you got to start giving him more minutes for sure.
I mean, we're seeing Ainsley is now stacking Tony Snell's, has back-to-back Tony Snell performances. And he played 10 minutes against Bama. I'll tell you this, Ainsley Almanor, he cannot guard a Jalen Moore type of player. I don't think he just can't. And I bet you that's why that decision was made. But so 4 minutes,
he's just too athletic.
if you would have told me, and it's funny how that just hit me, the fact that he played 4 minutes. I mean, like it really did. I mean, we kept saying, where's Ainsley? But like it never really hit. It was that few minutes. But I mean, you're telling me in a game where Amari Williams was in foul trouble, and I mean, where did all those minutes go? Like, I'm like trying to like piece this together, like in my brain. Like, I mean, because Brandon played 27 and Amari played 19. Like, now they played a little Brandon and Amari. I saw that. So, you got one? You got one?
Yeah, there it is. That's facts. I mean, that's a good comment.
We did say that, and so yeah, that's funny because
I also want to throw this by you too. And I know it's an away game, but I feel like every broadcast that I watch, even the home games, they're always talking about the other team the whole time. Like it and they know who's watching the games. Like like don't get it twisted. There is millions of people watching Kentucky. They should have turned that Texas A&M game off. No one cares about that. Texas A&M can't even fill up their arena. Like no one cares about that game. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's not true. Texas A&M's game day on Saturday. Are you kidding me? It's in Gainesville, but still. I mean, that is, especially now that both, Auburn handed it to Ole Miss and Kentucky won this game. There's no way in the world a road game for the number one team. They haven't won. We had a pretty solid. I spent like anyone that wonders what Andrew does on a day-to-day basis, it's about 10% articles and 90% stupid tweets. So I tweeted today on the Wildcats Today Twitter. You won't think how I was literally doing like historical research to like make this tweet.
No, it was a good tweet. I laughed at it.
I was at home and I tweeted this. So here you go. It says, things that have happened since Auburn last won in Rupp Arena. Quotes, 1988. The Red Sox ended the curse of the Great Bambino. The Cubs won a World Series.
Shout out AJ King.
Dwight Schrute became a regional manager. The World Wide Web was invented. And the launch of the Hubble telescope. All of those things happened between the last time Auburn won a game in Rupp Arena and now. So that goes to say a lot. So I'm telling you, like, knowing the history there and the number one Auburn team coming to Lexington, I don't know how you don't make that game day. I think you're right about Greenberg. So if anyone's got questions about Saturday's game, start lobbing them in there, and we will start.
Or anything from last night too.
Yeah, no, I mean anything too. But we've been, we keep throwing Oklahoma stuff, or if you got questions for the Auburn game, start hammering those at us.
What'd you think about the highest plus minus on the team, Mr. Lamont Butler?
Well, I mean, that's funny. This is great. And I like, yeah, that's a great one. The fact
that he's older than Luka Doncic is nuts.
Yeah, he's 25 years old. He's older than you and I.
Yeah.
Like
by a good amount.
So when would he have been? I don't understand his like college journey.
Yeah,
I know he was at San Diego State, and then he went to a JUCO.
Okay,
and he went to Auburn, but like, I think he went to another school before San Diego State.
Did he go to a prep school in high school?
I don't know.
Because you could pull the Cade and get the extra year.
See, that's a low blow. That's a low blow. But Lamont. I mean. Him fouling, I'll tell you this. I told Mike and Cameron had gone to bed. It was past his bedtime, because he's a big Canadian. But Connor and Mike and I were down there watching the game, and we were like, when Lamont fouled out, I literally was like, yeah, I'm gonna go start writing my article. Like I was like, we're gonna lose, and then they pulled it. It was a reverse jinx, but still, like I say that jokingly, meaning. I didn't think there was a way in the world we were going to win that game when Lamont found out. Well, there was like 5 minutes left, right? Or 4 or 5 minutes, maybe more.
Yeah. No, that was me and Cam looked at each other and we were like, that's not good. That can't be good.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. He needs to close the yearbook.
Will that make him like the oldest college basketball player? And now when I say that, I know that there's the thing where like, the people that went to the NFL and they decide they're going to take their basketball eligibility. Like I've seen that stuff before, but like a dude that's just been in college the whole time, he might be the oldest college basketball player of all time. Like legit.
What are some guys you can think of? All right. I got Perry Ellis. Perry Ellis has got to be up there.
Yeah.
And then you got Hunter Dickinson. I mean, it might be a Kansas thing. Then you got Luka Garza is one of them.
Luka Garza.
Who else?
I think Luka Garza right now is younger than Chad Baker-Mazara is.
That might be true.
Like, think about that. Luka Garza is 26 years old. Chad Baker-Mazara is 25. How long has Garza been out of college?
I don't know.
Like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a bit.
So, yeah. But, all right, Carson, do you got any other thoughts on the big dub over Oklahoma? And, yeah, if y'all have a question about the Oklahoma game, we'll keep talking about it. But we can kind of move to Auburn a little bit, Carson.
No, those after the game antics were nuts, though. Like, that was insane. I haven't seen any. I thought if that beer can would have hit Brandon Garrison, the malice in the palace.
Well, I'll tell you this. I thought, I was like, wait a minute. I kind of went like this. I was like, it's Oklahoma, not Tennessee. What's going on? This is weird.
No, it would have been a mustard bottle if it was Tennessee.
I thought, why is
a mustard bottle and
this fan base in college athletics? Why are they there? Oklahoma be better. You know what's funny about Oklahoma? I mean, we haven't played them in really anything. What was that, man? I didn't expect that from their fan base. And their coach, I actually met him when I lived in Illinois because he was the Loyola Chicago coach, and my roommate's dad was the assistant there. He's a great dude. I liked him a lot. Porter Moser is a great guy. I met him one time, like not in like a work setting for me, but he was like I can't. Jalen Moore, dude. He was a bit of I wasn't a fan of him. Now you could make the same argument about
That's a good one. BG brought out his kid for the game. That was cute.
That was great. That's how anytime you get into a little altercation and you bring out a baby,
bring the kid.
Fine.
Yeah,
all good. You can do whatever you want in the world, and then bring out a baby. All good, all good. No big deal. So his first. So questions for Auburn. Start dropping them in there. This is Doug Shows. Is that?
Oh, I almost forgot about that, dude.
Yeah.
If he would have called that technical, made him come back, and we lost because of it,
I think he would have been one of the worst. I think it'd been one of the worst foul calls I've.
I don't know what I would have done. It would have been bad.
What would the ruling have been there? They would have gotten to shoot 2 free throws and then like the ball, even though the game's over.
I guess. Well, here's my thing. What I laughed at, and I told Cam this last night in the replay, everyone was talking about, oh, what are you doing, Brandon Garrison? Why are you going up to him while the game's still going on? BG clearly looks at the clock. You can see him look at the clock across the court and wait till he sees it hit 0. And as soon as it hits 0, because you can see the clock behind him, he goes right after Fears. It was the fun because he's great at trash talk. You've seen him do it all year.
No, because Mike pointed that out too. He was like, "You see that? Look!" As soon as the game ended, he went up to Sears. Now, is that the rule? If it's 000, you can do whatever you want. There's no repercussions.
I don't
know.
Is
that the rule? Could they have been like technical after the game ended? He gets 2 free throws.
Way.
Like, so. That's hilarious. She's like, I just got to wait about 2 seconds, and then I'm going to go ruin your night.
Player.
Yeah. What about Coach Pope? Did you see? Can you believe he said it? He said bullshit.
Yeah, that was crazy. Holy moly. I heard someone, or I saw someone tweet out that it said Bush League, which if you look back at it, it's close. Like you can't really tell if it's Bush League or bullshit because like
it's funnier.
I would think it's funny because Doug Shower is bullshit, so that would be warranted.
Well, because that was the foul where Fears wrapped him, right?
Oh, the hook was so bad.
Which is Bush League to me. And the reason you say Bush League, I mean, I've always heard that's more of a baseball term than other sports. But I mean, they said it on the broadcast last night when they go to hook them like that, and we were listening to Jack and Leach.
Smart.
Which I'm telling you, everyone needs to do that. We connect to our Bluetooth.
How do you time it up so good?
He's good. That's something he's just good at. I don't know how he's good at that. But and they were talking about how Fears on the scouting report for him.
That's a great comment.
And
that's a great comment.
That is really good. But so he it was Goose on the broadcast said that the scouting report on Fears is he hooks you and then makes it look like he got fouled. Like that's the scouting report on him. So it's known that he does that.
A lot of fears and sears,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
kind of the same thing.
So now we'll have to figure this out. We're going to have Zach Blackerby from Locked on Auburn on the show tomorrow to break down the Auburn game. So we'll get more into it. He just texted me midday, so I might have to do that one solo. We'll figure it out. But
it's fine.
So like any Auburn questions? I mean, Carson, like, how do you feel? So we're not going to go unless y'all ask questions. Then we'll go crazy deep into it. We'll probably not go crazy deep into it. But Carson, what are your thoughts on this game, kind of as we sit right now? How do you feel about it? What do we have to do to win?
You got to limit Mr. I like to call him Johnny. It's Janai. Janai Broome is going to be a monster, and you got to figure out how you're going to stop that guy. And they play through him, which allows their guards to become more open and shoot easy shots. And Chad Baker-Mazara, as old as he is, he's really good. So, I mean, you're going to have to defend. Defense is the biggest thing. You got to let your defense translate into offense, and that has to be the MO.
I'll tell you this. And this sounds silly, and I'm being so serious right now. And there's one player I'm worried about. What is Chad Baker-Mazara best at in the world? It's pissing people off. That's all he tries to do.
Him and BG are going to go at it.
I tell you this. I'm serious about this. Chad Baker-Mazara tries to bait people into technical fouling him. He got Big Z in that Arkansas game.
I tell you, if it's an eye for an eye, I'll take that every time.
But what I'm saying is BG's got to be smart, because that's what I'm worried about. The rest of our players won't be worried about his bull crap or that. You know what I mean? We're not going to. We'll be able to handle that. It's the concern of if he gets in BG's head. Like, I'm not worried about Otega and Lamont. Like, they can handle it. BG, seriously, I'm serious. Needs to be dialed in for that.
Yeah, this is a good comment because it shows BG needs to control himself a little bit.
Yeah,
Amari literally picked him up in a bear hug.
But that tells you all you need to know. Like, BG, he does. I'll tell you this. I like it. He's got to, he's got to do a good job because he has gotten his fair share of technicals. You don't want to turn into Chad Baker-Mazara. You don't want to become that. So I think he's on that fine line right now where he's fine. But you don't want to take it to the next level.
That was just chippy all game. He was just letting you hear it at the end of the game. That was nothing more than just some trash talk.
But I'm just, what if he does it at 0.01 and we lose the game? I'm just saying he did a good job. You're right. He did it correctly. But I'm saying,
Phil, I mean, if Doug Shouse calls that, that's the worst call ever. Let him play. Let the boys play, Doug. Get your ego out of the way, Doug.
Okay, that's a good one. What does that mean? You know what that isn't that like a health insurance thing?
It's got to be an insurance.
Okay, I think that's a fine thing to put up there, but I'm not sure. Pretty sure
it's got to be old people insurance.
I think it is. That's I think that's like an insurance or like a life insurance or something, like a life insurance policy. But that is funny. So stopping Broome, that's my concern. They have good guards, but stopping, they start Broome at the 4. Even though he's been a 5 during his time there.
Because now he's skilled enough to create shots, and Cardwell is good enough defensively to combat him. Like they're playing what Amari and BG would look like, right? You know, you have your guy who's skilled. Like if BG could turn into Broome, which probably won't happen, but like you play him with another big who's defensively good like Amari, and then you could play both those guys.
But so here's my question for you. So Dylan Cardwell, who starts at 5 for them, is in essence a traffic cone on offense. He's probably one of the best center defenders in college basketball, but he's like a traffic cone on offense. The dude can't do anything offensively. So knowing that, how do you work? Like, I just tell you this. I think that Janai Broome gives Andrew Carr 40 points. I don't know how Andrew Carr was.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't put Andrew Carr on.
I'd put Carr on Cardwell.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would either put Carr on Cardwell. Amari's guarding Broome for me. I'm sorry. I'm sticking Amari on him, and I'm either playing BG and Andrew Carr, and I'm telling the other one. What I might do, though, is if you do put BG on him, it's better because he is an outside threat, and then you have Amari hang back and play with Cardwell and get rebounds. I don't know, dude. Because BG was good, man. He defended fears off the dribble. I mean, like, I could see it a little bit.
I really don't hate this idea. I don't hate it. Like, just for
the problem is BG tends to get pushed around down low a little bit.
But Cardwell, I mean, the dude that he can't do anything but dunk. Seriously.
So what I'm saying is, like, you can't give up offensive rebounds.
Now
like, at all.
That's fair. That's a valid point.
Because, like, if you give up offensive rebounds, you have no chance in hell to beat Auburn.
But, like, if you let him start doing post-up moves,
that's what you want.
Damn day, let him do that. I'd let him do that on Travis Perry. Like, because he can't score.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's burnt chicken. Not barbecue chicken. That's burnt chicken.
Yeah, because he can't score offensively. So I think you have to have your plan for Broome and not be concerned about Cardwell. All the Cardwell does is alley-oop dunks and in offensive rebounds and dunks. All he does. So now they have some guys that can shoot the ball. Their guards can shoot it. They've got Baker Mazzara. He's like he's kind of like a guard forward type of player. He's 6'7", 6'7", 26 years old. But I mean, he's a pretty darn good player. So let's pull up the stats here. So the leading scorer is Broome, who you think he wins player of the year, Carson? Do you think they give it to Flag?
He should win it. I think he should win it. He's the best player in the best conference.
I think that the people, getting fired up about the Flag, I think that's starting to die down.
Cooper Flag's not best player in his own class.
I agree. You need to stay. Did you ever tweet that? I like your take on it. I'm getting
I've been saying it. Trey Johnson is better than Cooper Flag. I would take him as a GM over Cooper Flag.
So, man, Auburn has 6 players that averages 10 points a game. That's crazy, actually. I didn't know that. So their starting guards are Denver Jones and Miles Kelly. Really good shooters, good players. They're guys, they don't really create a ton. They're more catch and shoot guys. They create through Broome and he kicks out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Broome is their guy. Like, they're going to play through Broome, and he's a good enough passer to see the cuts when they're open. They're playing through Broome, kind of like we play through Amari. It's just Broome's a little more skilled, so he can create his own stuff a little bit better. So it's going to be tough. You're going to have to stay on your assignment and really put pressure on these guys.
Yeah, and then they got this kid, Pettiford, comes off the bench, good player, shifty, a little bit. He can shoot the ball, but he's also a guy that's liable to just kind of jack up some shots at times, and just kind of start letting them fly. And, he's one of those guys, if he misses his first 2, you hope he keeps shooting because he'll go shoot it. And then, Cardwell, he plays 20 minutes a game, scores 5 points. Like, he just dunks. That's all he does. So, it's can we stop Broome? Because stopping Broome is not just holding him to 15. It's not letting him kick it out to these guys for open threes because they'll make them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Stopping Broome is more defending the other players well, because that's how you get.
Honestly, you need to let Broome shoot. You need to force him to shoot 3-pointers. Even though he's a pretty good shooter, that's just the way. I think they don't want to play that way. And
but if he shoots 10, he makes 3 of them. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to force him to make those 3, because if you'll live with that, you'll live with that every time instead of him creating in the post and finding Pettiford for a wide open 3. That's a much better shot.
And they don't turn the ball over a ton, about nine per game. They shoot about 37% from 3. They're a good team shooting the ball. So, for us to win this one, we need to the inside out defense needs to be good, because the ball is going to get into Broome. He's going to get on that post and he's going to try and figure something out. And right there, look, why that's funny. 45 minutes the last 2 games. Yeah, we talked about that 20 minutes ago. It's crazy that occurred.
Yeah, they don't know how to stagger games.
No, it just add a half an hour, do an extra half an hour on the broadcast, and then put in interviews from the players in between or something. Like, know what I mean? Like do an interview with Nickel
Doug
from
Shouse.
Vandy.
Interview Doug Shouse. He wants
he
some
would love
attention,
it.
clearly.
Yeah, he would love it. So yeah, that was an interesting part of that. You know, I think, man, Broome leads them in rebounding.
The biggest category of the game.
Yeah, they're interestingly enough, you know, Auburn, they're a good but not elite rebounding team to me based on the numbers. They do, you know what I mean? They can get hurt there sometimes, but when they're good on the board, that's when you can't beat them. So if you can, you know, get some one shot and done possessions on
I would love to win that category.
Yeah,
like win that category.
You win that category, I think that you really might win this game.
That's a good joke.
Oh, I like it. Put it up there. That is good. That is good.
Bad to stop the Broome.
That's good. All right, everybody put in the comments. How old were you the last time Auburn won in Rupp Arena? I was 0. You were 0.
I was -13.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad was we were talking about this today. He was in finishing up high school, he said, or something. So yeah, it was a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, a long time ago. And that's why I don't know why, but I just think that the Cats are going to get this done. And if they win this game, Carson, puts you in a great position for -6. There we go.
-6. Love it.
If you win this game, I've run the math. Let's talk about this for a second. Talk about SEC seeding. So we are now 8-7 in SEC play. Mississippi State is 7-8. We have the what do you call it? The head-to-head, of course, with them because we beat them at their place. So let's assume that we beat LSU at home. Okay, we beat LSU at home and finish 9-9 in conference play. Mississippi State would have to go 3-0 over their last 3 games to jump us, because if they go 2-1, they tie us at 9-9, and we have the head-to-head. So if we just beat LSU, I would say we have a 85% chance. Probably, I would say right now we have about an 80% chance if we just beat LSU to get that bye and be the 8th seed in Nashville. If you go 1-1 against Auburn, Missouri, on top of beating LSU, it's a guaranteed you get a top 8. And then at that point, you probably have a good chance to overtake Ole Miss, who still has some big games. They still got to play
with me for a second. If you somehow pull off a win on Saturday, I mean, you're talking about finishing the season undefeated at these last couple games. You would play yourself probably into a 2 seed, maybe. I mean, Auburn and Missouri on the road, those are 2 huge, huge wins. I don't know. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, this is true. If we beat, this is possible. Let me pull up the standings again.
6 for the SEC would be crucial. I think
A&M. Let me pull up. They still got to go to Florida, host Auburn, and then go to LSU. If they finished 0-3, you could overtake them. It'd be tough. We have a chance for this to happen. It'd be tough to get it done. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we're able to get that done. I don't know how I feel about it with Texas A&M, because I think they beat LSU. I think they would get that one done. But we're in a good spot to get.
Depends on how many timeouts Buzz Williams has and how many fouls he can give up.
He's the worst. Him and Wade Taylor. Wade Taylor might be shooting 8% from the field this season. He's like the worst player. I don't understand.
I'm glad we beat them.
I know, and I don't think we're gonna play them, of course, in Nashville. I don't, because I think they'll lose their first game. But I just don't like. So I don't feel bad crap talking them. But I mean, I just think that he's just the worst, man. He's so bad. He's so bad. My least. By the way, my favorite.
He seems like a good guy in the media.
He does.
Like his on the court decisions piss me off.
Yeah, it's not Zakai Ziegler. He just pisses me off because he's Zakai Ziegler. Aiden Holloway pisses me off because he just pisses me off. And then Wade Taylor, he just pisses me off because the dude, every game you pull up his numbers and he goes 3 of 19. Like the dude scores 18 points a game, shooting 30% from the field. It's like the worst. Oh, it just, I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. It just irks me. It just grinds my gears.
We don't like inefficient basketball here.
We do not. We don't at all. But I feel pretty good. This would be awesome. We would have to win out, of course, to do that. I mean, I'll tell you this. If we beat Auburn on Saturday,
your prediction would hit.
Huh?
Your prediction would hit, and I'd owe you a beer. Remember our SEC predictions before the season? You had 11-7. I had 12-6.
But you know what that means?
That means I owe you beer.
Regardless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boom.
Well,
no.
Asterisks, injuries. I'm playing the injury asterisk card.
Right, that's fine. But yeah, I think that if you beat Auburn, I think that 11-7, because if we lose to LSU at home, we shouldn't even be allowed to be in the tournament. Like seriously. So like, if you beat Auburn, you should beat LSU, and then
LSU's on senior night too. Can't lose on senior night.
No. So because we have a lot, people to celebrate that night. So
it'll be a good senior. We haven't had a senior night like this senior night in a while.
Yeah. So no, I agree. All right. Any other final questions on the Oklahoma game or on the Auburn game? And then we will get out of here in a minute or two. But so yeah, tomorrow, and it might just be me. It's because some people have to work for a living. Carson, has got to go to work. And I will be doing a little podcast with Zach Blackerby from Locked on Auburn midday tomorrow. Put it up at the same time we normally do, about 3 or something like that. I love that. Next year, I think Otega is going to be prime Braun. LeBron James. But so that'll be tomorrow's show. It'll be fun. Zach knows the ins and outs of that Auburn team, so we'll get a real inside view of that one. Hear more on them, and him and I, we're
everybody on their team's older than him.
Yeah, we're buddies. So him and I will we'll poke some fun at one another about this game, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, Carson, anything else before we get on out of here?
No, that's it. I hope everybody has a good end to their Thursday. This was fun. Glad y'all joined us for this little live. But big win, exciting stuff. Otega, he came out of his shell. And so that was a big game.
Governor of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The mayor of Norman.
Yep. The governor, the athletic director,
the owner of Jeremiah Fears.
Yep.
There it is. Did you know that? That's a fact, actually. Chad Baker Mazara coached LeBron in high school.
Yeah, he did.
That's how he got his start. Did you know that?
He did. He was the head coach.
Yeah, before and now he's in his, but remember, he's back again next year somehow.
Then the year after, he'll be a all-star at Kroger.
Yeah. I would not want to be him in Rupp Arena, man, because Rupp Arena is going to give him hell. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to throw another argument out there because I'm going to throw this to Zach tomorrow, and then we'll get out of here. Okay. I was, starting to do the preview Auburn today and look at some of their stuff. The only road environment that I think I would consider challenging that they've played in this year is that Alabama game, and they showed up. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit them, but I mean, okay, let me. And
that's also a rivalry game too, though. So like home field isn't as big, I mean it is, but like everyone's fired up for that game no matter what.
So okay, I'm gonna read Auburn's road games. Okay, that they played in SEC play. They did play at Duke. Yes, I just saw that. Good point. They did play at Duke. I forgot about that. It's a good point there.
All 8,000 of them,
and they lost that. Yeah, but so okay, we'll add Cameron Indoor in there. Good shout out, Wink. That was a good point there. So we'll add Duke in there. And then I'm going to read you their 9 road games in conference play. Okay. At Texas, at South Carolina, at Georgia, when they were ranked. Georgia's not good. They did help us out taking down the Florida Gators, though, because, screw Florida. And then at LSU, okay, at Ole Miss, at Vandy, at Bama, and then they play at A&M after. But once again, we've discussed that's not. So I think you could argue. I mean, do we agree that Rupp Arena is a tougher place to play than Cameron Indoor. Do we all agree on that?
When number one Auburn walks into the arena, yes. Maybe on a Tuesday night when we play Beaumont, it wouldn't be. But
Beaumont,
yeah,
Middle School Gunbear Club.
Yeah.
But I think this will be the toughest environment they've played in all year. I think it's a better environment than Duke. And where's their? I guess they lost 2 games. Where's their loss? At Duke. I mean, so they played in one environment. I would consider that Alabama. That was a good environment there. I'll give them that. And then that would be pretty cool, actually. If you did that.
I think that too. And I think the game should be only students. I think the students should get to go for free. It should be only students. That would be awesome.
And, we did that at Lexington Catholic, where there was always the one game a year that would be in the old gym.
Yeah.
And we were, for some reason, always the rowdiest at that gym. I don't know why. But, seriously, they should do that. That'd be a lot of fun. You just made it. You made it make it like, that'd be a fun tradition. Make it like the Penn State whiteout game.
Yeah.
And
$1 beer night.
Yeah.
Bring a team in there. It would be the rowdiest environment you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be. I wish, but I'm a student because I want to go to that.
Yeah. I got my old ID. I'm good. They scared me through.
Let me in there. So, all right, Carson, anything else before we get out of here?
That's all I got. Hope everyone has a good end to their night.
Yep. Big one on Saturday. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, post a little thing with Zach Blackbeard from Locked On Auburn. Going to be just a good little preview of the game. Carson may or may not be there. We'll see, depending on the time we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll either be me and Zach or Carson, Zach, and I. So we'll see. Appreciate y'all stopping in. If you're in here and you're not subscribed, hey, hit that button. That helps us out a ton. Leave a like on the video. That helps us out as well. Really, really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day today, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Wildcats Today podcast.